everybody. This is a video about antitheism, and a problem, one of many problems I've noticed with it, is when antitheists try and use the no true Scotsman fallacy, which is a fallacy we're probably all familiar with. It's when you say someone isn't a true something or other. Let's say you're a Christian and you say some other group of Christians who you don't agree with aren't true Christians. You and the people you associate with, you're the real Christians, and all these other Christians are just posers, or they're frauds, or whatever you want to say. That's the no true Scotsman fallacy in brief. The problem I've got is when antitheists try and do this, or whether you identify as that or not, any kind of outspoken critic of religion, but I'm talking about antitheists, by which I mean the ham-fisted, not very nuanced approach to challenging religion. When they say a certain person isn't a true Christian, or a true Muslim, or a true Hindu, whatever else, that presents us with quite a problem. I don't think a lot of them have thought this through. I saw a clip of Live Life 8072, who we all know I don't like. He was debating, he wasn't debating, he was arguing with a Christian guy on YouTube, and he told the guy he wasn't a real Christian. And the reason pretty much came down to the fact that this guy had an interpretation of Christianity that Live Life didn't know how to argue with. So therefore, rather than saying, right, I think maybe I should update my position and learn how to argue with this new type of Christianity, or new to me type of Christianity that I'm not familiar with, and start taking on the challenge of that, instead I should be like, what? You mean you don't think the universe is 6,000 years old? What? Oh, I don't know how to debunk that. Oh, you can't be a real Christian. Only people who I know how to debunk, only those Christians are the real Christians. Which is obviously ridiculous, but you see, if you're talking to a Christian, they might say, if you ask them, well, what is a true Christian? They'll probably say something like, it's a person who has a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. They might not definitely say that. There are some people who don't define it like that, but that's a very common answer. Now, if that's their definition of a true Christian, the obvious problem is there's all sorts of problems that come up with that, like how do we know who does and does not have a personal relationship with Christ? For us, we the atheists, the non-believers, there is no Christ with which to have a relationship with. There may have been an historical Christ. I'm not getting into Christ myth theory. There may well have been a Jesus Christ historical figure, but he is no longer alive. So anyone who ever did have a personal relationship with him is also no longer alive. So if you're an antitheist and you want to start saying certain Christians aren't true Christians, or certain Muslims aren't true Muslims, or certain Hindus aren't true Hindus, or so on and so forth, this gives you a bit of a problem. Because you're saying, if you want to say only true Christians are people with a personal relationship with Christ, you see, Christ would have to be real for that to work. God would have to be real. That's why it really doesn't work if you're trying to do that. I think antitheists forget that. A lot of their arguments require God to actually be real. they would only really work if God were real. So if we say, this person's not a true believer, how would we determine that? Is it because they're not following their holy book correctly? The problem is the holy book was written by human beings, so it's very much open to interpretation. We can't say there's one true way of following the holy book. You know, for there to be a one true way of following the holy book, it would actually have to have been written by a God, and that God would have to be able to clarify it for us exactly. They'd have to say, yeah, this particular denomination here, they're the ones who are following it correctly. Everyone else is reading it wrong. Because we don't have that though. It doesn't exist. Right? God doesn't exist. So God can't tell us which of the interpretations of the Bible or the Quran or whatever else is correct, because he's not there. So as an atheist of any kind, you can't use this no true Scotsman idea. You can't say that someone's not a true Christian because they're not following the Bible to the letter, or they're not following the Bible the way you think that Christians should follow it. You can't say that. It makes no sense at all. Because this wasn't authored by a deity, it was written by people. So it's as open to interpretation as anything else that was ever written by people. So I think there are some situations where you could say such a person isn't a true Christian or a true Muslim, but those sort of arguments don't work. Arguments like, oh, only true Christians are the people who follow the Bible to the letter, doesn't work, because no one can follow the Bible to the letter, let's be honest, because there's bits of the Bible which contradict other bits of the Bible. So if you're following one bit of the Bible to the letter, you're going to have to treat the bit that contradicts it as a metaphor or something, to try and make it work with the bit that you've decided you're going to follow to the letter. And some people think this bit will follow to the letter, this bit will interpret it as a metaphor, some people the other way around. I really don't think it's a good idea, therefore, for anyone who's trying to criticise religion to do that. Anyone who actually doesn't believe in any religious claims to start saying what is and isn't a true Christian. It creates problems, at least if you're doing it like that. So let me know what you think, everyone. Goodbye.